Welcome to the beginning of another live Saṅgha. I am your host, Yampta Claus, and I hope to be in service of you in any way that I have the capacity to. As we wait our first guests to arrive, allow me to start with a prayer. Sadhana Vavatu Sadhana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Varvavahai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Good evening, Paige. That prayer means, Om, may the Divine protect us both together. May the Divine nourish us both together. May our study be vigorous and effective, and may we not mutually dispute or hate any. May there be peace in us. May there be peace in our environment, and may there be peace in the forces that act on us. Oh, the mic sounds funky. Thank you for letting me know. Let's see if I can listen to it to figure out what the problem is. What's the problem, Boris? I'm afraid I don't actually know, but not to worry. I think I have a temporary solution. I might know what the reason is. Testing. Okay, is this better? I think I accidentally turned on bass boosting. Do let me know. It's better, okay. Thanks for helping, everyone, and for your patience. And thank you, dear Saralyn, for your heart me. Om Namah Shivaya. Dear Alyssa, you had asked, what does the direction of peace mean to me? Well, it's of course coming from within, flowing outward from our hearts. We have to go inward to find that, and then once we find that peace, we bring it outward. Hello, dear Mariham. It's a clever anagram, dear Matt. Thank you, hand fingers. Welcome. Hello, dear Chloe. Hello, everyone. I trust you are feeling as well as you can be in this moment. And if you're not feeling like that's true for you, well, that's okay too. I hope you find peace and relaxation here. Welcome, Belinda and Jocelyn, Mariham and Steer Staff, Darcy and Teehee. What's so funny, Sky Guardian? Hola. I heard a cute variation of hola recently. Oli. Welcome. I do have a show and tell for all of you, from one of you. But perhaps I can wait until the Saṅgha who submitted it comes. Let's see if they show up or not. So I'm gonna dilly-dally for a couple minutes. So this morning, Geeta said, tell Liam to do Christmas today. And I literally did it without you mentioning it. Aw, that's awesome. Well, some things can be communicated beyond words. That's right, instead of dilly-dally, I dilly-yammy. I tell you what, we can just swap up the order. This part of our Saṅgha, the beginning, is dedicated to Shravana, which is listening. And I would love to listen from the show and tell. Someone had made a video just for this live stream for us to watch together. But before then, let's listen from the next part of this book. From Moksha, Liberation. Let me turn the music down just a little bit. Let's see, we left off just before starting the 8th chapter, where our protagonist had finished up some of her previous lessons with, or some of her first lessons with Siddh, who is secretly Shiva, divine consciousness incarnate on earth. And she is, in fact, the Divine Mother, who is yet to remember her true identity. May this reading relax your mind and awaken your heart. Diving right into it. I stretched out my bed and stared at a lizard glued to the rough concrete ceiling, plotting its next move. Pots and space. Pot space. The space in a small round pot is not born of the great space around it. Similarly, I, an individual, am not born of absolute consciousness, called Brahman in Sanskrit. When the pot is smashed, the pot space appears to merge into space, although it was never cut off from space. With the destruction of my body, I, the individual, do not merge into Brahman. I was always one with Brahman. The contents of the pot, dirt, smoke, fluids, do not affect the space within it. Consciousness associated with the characteristics of my body, mind and senses, merits, demerits, ideas, concepts, does not take on these characteristics. I am always perfect. The shape of the pot, round, tall, wide, is not the shape of the space within it. The characteristics of my body, mind, and senses do not define who I am. Hello, Taylin. There is no such thing as pot space and great space. Both are one. I am not a part of the Absolute. I am one with the Absolute. The lizard was making its way jaggedly toward an unsuspecting tiny black dot. Nothing stands still. All is movement. All is change. I rose. I had had enough. Of the dialogues, of the teachings, of the chapati and lentil soup dinners, of the lack of a proper mattress and hot water for a proper bath. This is my last day, Siddh, I said at breakfast. Let's lunch at a luxury resort up in the mountains, patronized by sheiks and movie stars. Jatayu mentioned it. My treat, I hastily added, to repay you for your kindness in teaching me. I'm also leaving a donation. Thank you, Finding Bliss. Surprisingly, he agreed, and in a few hours we were at the river's edge waiting for Jatayu, who had been summoned. 2 armchairs had been placed on the lawn for us. We were the Pukka Saab and Mem Saab. I was in a raw silk pink kameez and matching chudidhar, also purchases from the hotel boutique in Delhi. And he was in a Natalie tailored tan summer suit and pale blue cambric shirt open at the collar. Happy birthday, Rahina. You missed the concert yesterday, I said. Your friend Hari was there. Hari is everywhere, he said. He stood, picked up a petal from one of the flower beds, and was about to skim it across the water, when 2 ladies in showy silk saris determinedly marched past us. Damu, whom I now recognized as the afternoon tea boy, hurried after them, hugging a pile of towels. The women threw off their sandals, and with high-pitched shrieks and giggles submerged themselves in the river. When I was a boy, I had Damu's job, Sid said, smiling. But when Guruji, who ran the place, noticed my utter enjoyment of the sight of soaking wet women, I was banished to the kitchen duties. Did you grow up here? I asked quickly. Here and there, he answered vaguely, then turned to me, suddenly serious. The teachings might seem obscure to you and hard to absorb. Good practice is to continually ask yourself the question, what am I doing now? You will find... I grabbed his hand. What are we doing now? I said. We are immersing ourselves. No, this is my last clean shirt. Besides, the car is waiting. Come on, I said. No excuses. Immersion in this river will get us directly to heaven. That's what Jatayu said. God in liquid form, right? No need for all this study. The scriptures. Fine, he said, but we should change first. These women were in their Sunday best. It's what's done. I pulled him forward. He bent down to unlace his brown Oxfords. Nice shoes, I remarked, shaking off my silver sandals. Wouldn't want to get them wet. No, I wouldn't, but more to the point, I could get lynched if I stepped into the river with shoes on. We waded in. The icy water surrounded me with a surprising stillness. I stayed down as long as I could, then emerged shivering to find Sid remonstrating with Damu. Sid threw a tablecloth at me, while Damu eyed me appreciatively. The suit is ruined, Sid muttered. What about my hair? I moaned. My carefully coiffed hairdo was in knotty clumps, and Jatayu was on the terrace, watching us impassively. Oh good, Marcy's here. You stick around for your own show and tell. Anyway, we left the tight winding lanes of the city behind and ascended forested hills through hairpin bends along precipitous cliffs until we reached the walled fortress of the Maharaja's palace. Jatayu and the car remained outside the gates while we were bundled off in a gaily tasseled golf cart. Vast, manicured lawns with a profusion of flower beds in bloom stretched out on either side of the narrow road that led to the Palace Cum Spa complex. As we curved around a bosque of conifers, I spotted a man in the distance who stood still in the midst of several peacocks. That's Muthu, I thought, Miss Nandi's nephew, who was her Sanskrit teacher. But the man could hardly be Muthu. How could he? I was tempted to stop the cart and call out, but decided that after my confusion about the 2 boys, it was far better to keep mum. I did not want to be accused of the foreigner's myopia, of not being able to distinguish one native from another. The hotel restaurant, a disapproving matre de laide, or matre de, I don't know how to pronounce this French. I'm pronouncing a lot of French names recently. M-A-I with a hat on it, T-R-D space D apostrophe, led us to a table in an isolated corner of a spacious terrace, our appearance having been considerably diminished by our plunge into the river. I was in baggy pants and a baggy shirt that I had put aside to wear in my return journey, and my wet hair was pulled back into a tight ponytail. Sid was in jeans, t-shirt, and sneakers. From the cantilevered terrace, we could just make out the river, a silvery crack. That river took a great deal of effort to come down, he said cheerlessly. Is the river dying? I asked. It is not a river anymore, he said. In what way? I asked. The Ganga is a large construct, dammed, diverted, and supporting over 300 million people. They worship her, then defecate on her. Factories line the banks. One drain pipe alone spews out 10 million gallons of raw sewage every day. The glacier that feeds it is melting at a tremendous rate, and unless the monsoons are heavy every year, which is unlikely, no more river. Do people know the river is dying? I asked. They know, but it's easier to pretend not to know. A pale green bird settled on our table for a moment, then flew away. A greenfinch, he laughed. The bird delighted him, bringing him back to me. There is a parable of two birds, he said, in the Mundaka Upanishad. Two birds, always together, cling to a tree. One pecks at the fruit, and the other looks on without eating. The two birds represent the individual self and the divine, eternal self. Both have a common origin, and both are associated with the world symbolized by the tree. The individual self clings to the world, unaware. The divine self experiences and masters the world through self-awareness. That divine self is that absolute reality, Brahman. It was pleasant to converse quietly, in this vein surrounded by the great mountains with the sacred river in our sights, in this perfectly designed fat farm for the rich. We were attended by 3 or 4 young girls and boys who catered to our every whim that included sending Jatayu his lunch. I wondered where these children lived, for that was what they were, children. There were no villages or towns for miles. Probably in some dark dormitory on the premises, well hidden from view. They were the lucky ones. We were alone on the terrace. The movie star and her entourage, the sheiks and their wives and attendants, and the oligarchs had all left. I looked at my watch. I would be home by midnight. Home. Let's get a room, I said. He sat transfixed, and I went in search of a manager. I reserved a suite. I informed Jatayu that we would remain here a little longer, and I rescheduled my flight. Is there a shop on the premises? I asked the manager. Yes, madame. Come this way. I need a toothbrush, toothpaste, soap, I blurted to the stunning sales girl at the well-appointed spa boutique. Madame, no problem, she said. All such toiletries are in the room only. Everything you will find. Oils for massage, shampoos, all you will find. No need for our guests to bring. I need clothes. I see some. No need, madame. We are providing. Room has pajama kurta sets, madame. What size, madame? Medium long? 5 sets we will keep in room. We replace every day. For the gentleman? I asked. Yes, yes, madame. Give me 5 minutes. She is going to share a room with her guru. No. We'll pause our reading there. And remember that this story takes place on many levels at once. She is actually the Divine Mother, consort of Sid, the Divine Father. They are meant to be together. We'll pause our reading there for now on such a intimate cliffhanger to see what happens. But for now, I thank you for reading, and I look forward to continuing where we leave off now, next time. Namaste. Welcome everyone who joined while we were reading. Hello, dear Rianan. Mary Radhe. Welcome, G. You have hot chocolate and mini vegan marshmallows sprinkled with cocoa in hand now. Perfect. Hello, Rob. Hi, Guardian. You like Yam Grinch better than Yampta Claus? Am I post heart growing 3 times Grinch or pre? Hello, dear Magdalene. And thank you for sharing the live, dear Rianan. Dansuela, nice to have you here too. Now, I hope Marcy's still here to share her show and tell. Thank you, dear Paige, for your subscription. I ever look forward to having you as a Saṅghi here. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Present and accounted for, shares Marcy, so formal. Thank you, dear Rahina, for the heart me you had sent to. Ram Ram. And thank you, Paige, for your quintet of tiny dinies. Yippee! And John Simon, thank you for your heart me and septet of roses. You don't know how you weren't a sub, dear Paige? Well, never expected nor necessary, but I hope you enjoyed a little sticker pack. You always catch the endings of the readings, dear Sheila. Well, I post all the recordings on my YouTube channel in case you want to catch up ever. And thank you, Louise. Alright. For our show and tell today, we have a video from Marcy, which is titled December, a song. And it's made just for us, as you'll see. So let me turn down the music and pull up the video. You had written, dear Marcy, this song a vibe and explains boundaries in terms of authorities and subordinates. Well, we'll find out what that means together as you fill out your calendar for December.
Okay, so hi Saṅgha, it's me,
Hi.
Moksha. So for tonight's show and tell, I thought that I would do a combination of showing you guys how I'm turning a new leaf this season with my calendar revamp, as well as my extrapolations on a song that has a very special spot in my heart. That's associated with endings, beginnings, breaks, pauses, resets, and restarts alike. So the song, which you may be able to guess from these stats, was written in the 90s by Ed Roland. The song peaked at number 20 on the US Billboard Hot 100 and number 2 on the RPM 100 hit tracks chart in Canada between 1995 and 1996. And as most art of that expo level seems to have multiple meanings and influences, and has invoked such a feeling within me that I felt it appropriate to share with the Yam fam. And here are the ones that I've found so far that I can verbally articulate. So, literature defines collective as an adjective or a noun fully defined as assembled or gathered, and adjectively so, a people's doing as such, like us here in the Saṅgha space. And the term soul, having near infinitesimal interpretations, but predominantly refers to the immaterial and immortal parts of the self-conscious. Collective soul, to me, automatically provokes a dualistic perspective on a singular concept. Then, drumroll please, with the song itself being named December, which is the 12th month of the Gregorian calendar, yet with a decem meaning 10 in Latin, because it was originally the 10th month of the Roman calendar. In many languages, the prefix deca means 10. Anyhow, bizarre as that might be, language itself is a living and evolving thing, and that's important to understand when communicating. And with music, as I see it as the great communicator, I think it's important to note how even a prefix of 3 letters can hold so much space, or in this case, time. Understanding this multi-oriented sort of transcendental bias, that there are multiple ways of dividing one single thing in perfect halves, is where I began to cognize this time of year to be symbolic of a divine restart of cyclical sorts, with the axis of all the Christ-like powers that be within humankind being the collectively conscious, centrally attuned, resonating filter that juxtaposes non-existence itself along a continuously iterative pathway. There's even a rough understanding I have observed when thinking about the soul and karmic energy being synonymous with the purpose that decimals serve. And although a bit complicatorily here when combining and associating all of the similarly named things, like a decimal whose symbol can also be deigned a period, which of course represents the end of sentences in literary works or a way to convey suspense, but also depending on placement around the specific letters in a word are accents.
Period.
Chronologically can be used to preface a measurement of a period of time or a time period, or biologically when referencing the indicator or phenomenon of a body's viability to sustain a pregnancy as well as cleanse the womb as the menstrual cycle. If you're a science buff, you know the periodic table of elements within the subject of chemistry has been wonderfully named and balanced. Even mathematically, this singular tiny black dot, depending on what ink color you write in, has such a crucial representative role that it's inalienable from the language of math itself, by not only indicating numbers having fixed numerical values, but also sometimes arbitrarily, as it is assumed within Briggsian math, as being within a system with a common log of 10. Essentially, co-relativity. And if you're familiar with Einstein's theory of relativity, you can probably catch the gist of my, imagination. But that's where we'll wrap back around to December, and revert to binaries of ones and zeros as they are justly the same, indifferent unto each other until something that has yet to be that which is eventually remembered. Many times it has been spoken by spiritual leaders and masters alike that you should not find demeritive or restrictive ability in things that you don't put there yourself. And this was best articulated to me by the epitaph that you shouldn't let a thing take value away from if you would not also ask those things to add value to any aspect of measurement, whether it's via comparison, importance, or appreciation of the truth being bestowed. An individual must take those feelings and emotions to heart, as well as understand appreciatively so. And this song speaks heavily to that sentiment. But my personal synopsis is this: the amount of importance that you bestow upon any name, item, or concept is the weight that it might carry to you, karmically multiplied and justified tenfold. So yes, December, being the last month of the year where we revert back to new but still familiar beginnings by a band named Collective Soul, is a very pleasant and pleasing tidbit of information, entertaining sound to my ears. And with that, whenever Yam is ready, he can start the song so that you guys can experience it for yourselves.
Oh, I'm supposed to do that? Okay, I can do that. I didn't realize you had a job for me. But before that, first of all, what a wonderful exposition. I really wanted to see some of the holidays that you had put on the calendar near the end. We got Rosa Parks Day and a new moon falling at the same day. And later there's start of Las Pasadas, another full moon on the 15th. Of course, we got New Year's Eve, 31st, and a new moon before that. Christmas Day, and unfortunately something in yellow that is a little difficult to... something to do with Hanukkah, I think. And then after that we got Kwanzaa. And first day of winter. Ah yes, the solstice. And Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, of course. Well, thank you very much, Marcy, for this. And yeah, I guess it's time for us to vibe to your song, December. So allow me to bring that up. I was wondering if you were going to play the song while you were talking about it, but now I understand. Okay. Oh, there's a video? You have to make sure I find the right one. Is it... is it the one by Peter Hollins? Let me make sure you can see this. Let me make sure you can see this. Let me make sure you can see this. Someone help me out here. What's the... Unfortunately, I don't know the song you're referring to, so you will have to help me out if you want to, for us to listen to it together. Or that video is appropriate? Oh, I see. I see. All right. Thank you for your patience. All right, December song. No, this is not the right video. It's a different song. Oh, we should have communicated beforehand. The one that's 4 minutes. This one is 4 minutes. But there was another one that was 4 minutes. This one.
Only in my darkest moments can I see the light. I think I'm prone to get...
No, not this one either. Type in Collective Soul. Oh, this one's 4 minutes and 44 seconds. I see. Got it.
Why drink the water from my hand? Contagious as you think I am. Just took my son to your domain. You can't run it over again. Don't scream about, don't think aloud. Turn your head now, baby, just spit me out. Don't worry about, don't speak about. Turn your head now, baby, just spit me out. Why follow me to higher ground? Lost as you swear I am. Don't throw away your basic needs, ambience and vanity. Don't scream about, don't think aloud. Turn your head now, baby, just spit me out. Don't worry about, don't speak about. Turn your head now, baby, just spit me out. Don't scream about, don't think aloud. Turn your head now, baby, just spit me out. Don't worry about, don't speak about. Turn your head now, baby, just spit me out. Don't scream about, don't think aloud. Turn your head now, baby, just spit me out. Don't worry about, don't speak about. Turn your head now, baby, just spit me out. Don't scream about, don't think aloud. Turn your head now, baby, just spit me out. Don't worry about, don't speak about. Turn your head now, baby, just spit me out.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for sharing this, Marcy. That was certainly a treat, and I love how you made a video. And and your exposition of what the song means to you and all sorts of other philosophical connections is so well articulated. I love what you said about music being a way for, what was the term you used? Universal communication? Something like that. That really hit hard. A wordsmith, you certainly are. Thank you for that, dear Marcy. The great communicator. The music is the great communicator. I love that. Yeah. Pretty good music. Now on to, now back to the music that we were listening to, which definitely isn't music for cats with anxiety. Oh, I still have my screen up. Oh. Now, if any of you have something that you would like to share too, do check out the show and tell submission form in the link tree in my bio. And if you have a song, please don't count on me to be able to find it. Send me the link to that. Namaste. So we're all just cats with anxiety, huh? Yeah, I resonate with that. Alright, we're going to transition now out of our Shravana, our listening portion of the Saṅgha, to Manana. And if there's anything on our hearts and minds that you would like to talk about, the space is yours. Yes, thank you for your patience in finding that song. We went to space. It's nice to see so many people connect over a shared interest in music. Dear Kristen, you share. You're trying to support friends going through grief. Well, you are a wonderful friend for doing so. That is what friends do. I know they can be hard on you too. Make sure you hold space for yourself, just as you hold space for them during this time. Jay, you're really digging the added sound effects to the changeover? Yeah, they added this new feature where you can upload sound effects. I downloaded them from Star Trek. You love this music so much, dear Paige. Wow. You must be a cat with anxiety then. Dear Rahina, you shared today you sought for your boyfriend for comfort, but he was busy, so you realized you need to turn to you for love too. What a beautiful realization. Yeah. I think it's easy to give love to ourselves, but you know what it's hard to do? Give love to ourselves. Sorry, that's what I said. Receive love from ourselves. Because we can look ourselves in the mirror or hug ourselves and say, I love you. But are you really receiving that love? Are you open to receiving that love from yourself? Do you hear the person in you saying, I love you, and meaning it? And do you cherish that? Do you feel that hug in return and not just feel like you're giving one to yourself? Do you look at yourself with loving eyes and in return feel that you are being looked at with love? I think that's the part that we forget. To affirm to ourselves everything we need for comfort and actually listen to ourselves. How did I know, dear Paige, that you were a cat with anxiety? It takes one to know one. No, I played this song for my dear cat Sandy last night, who was very much needing me, and he fell asleep very quickly. So I figured if it worked for Sandy, it must work for all of you too. Dear Santa, please make my wish come true to watch horror movies with the yam. I'm not sure if we have the rights to watch an entire movie here. But I tell you what, if you can get permission from a movie studio to watch their movie, or if you can find an independent film creator, we can watch it together. I love that, dear Fiddle Leaf. You think light and sound are the two primal forces that unite us all. It's beautiful. Sandy is such a cute name for a cat. Yeah, and he is sandy colored. He's got white parts and orange parts. It's very easy to tell my two cats apart, Sandy and Shadow, because the sandy colored one is named Sandy, and the shadowy one is Shadow. Dear Kristen, you share you almost crashed your car yesterday. Well, what a blessing it is that you are here today. Good reminder to stay alert. If you have defensive driving as an offered course in your town, I've heard that's a great thing to do. Defensive driving is what they don't teach you in school. In driving school, they teach you how to be a good driver, but they don't teach you how to account for bad drivers. So defensive driving is a course that you can take yourself to account for other people's bad driving. And if a car is swerving into traffic, or if your car gets hit and starts rolling, what should you do? Things like that. My mom said she took it and she had to learn what to do when the car was rolling over and things like that. Pretty cool. You feel like you're an action movie. The favorite feminine. Can you see Sandy and Shadow? I think they might be sleeping. I don't know. When they want to come in, I'll always happily bring them in. But generally, I know if I was napping, the very last thing I'd want is someone to pick me up out of bed and go, what? And then show me off to people. Here, look. And you'd be like, where am I? Hold on. I'm trying to remember what reality I'm a part of. Who are you? I just want to go back to bed. Yeah, Sandy was very loving last night. Now thank you, dear Tan How You, for the heart me you had sent minutes ago. Dear Tatvamasi, thank you for your quintet of roses. Jai Nisargadatta Maharaj. Glasgow, do you highly recommend defensive driving? I'm happy to hear that. Thank you, dear Jay. You had sent a subscription to Dear Joyful, Paige Randall, AJ Bradley, Helen Murads, and Derek Lauer. That's very kind of you, dear Jay. Thank you. I look forward to being able to have them here in any capacity that they are open to it. No stealing Sandy, Kristen. No catnapping. No catnapping the cat napping. Yeah, I like that glass ghost. Helps with being paranoid of being hit. Yeah, just having that knowledge of what to do in the situation can alleviate so much anxiety. Sandy is stuck with me. No, I'm stuck with Sandy. He's my karma. Dear Fiddly Fig, you drive super slow like your grandma, so everyone leaves you alone. Probably for the better. Thank you, Gracie. Happy Krampusnacht. Sounds Germanic. Seem like a good cat dad. No, I'm like the fun uncle. Every time my mom or my sister ask if I want to help with trimming their nails or grooming them, I go, no way, I don't want them to associate me with all of that. I want them to have one person in the house that they don't think this person is going to trim my nails or cut my hair or bring me to the vet. So I'm like the cool uncle that evades that responsibility. So they can always take refuge. If there's ever a vacuum on, they run into my room. If they're ever scared, they come see me. I think it's good to have one person like that. Thank you, dear Usha Priyaji, for your fast crown and hand hearts. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Dear Glass Ghost, you share that your cat died on the 2nd of September, and you've been recently seeing some kittens at Petco. There's a tortoiseshell cat that has, I think the comic got cut off or something, and she's so silly and sweet. Oh, I love that. A tortoise. What is a tortoiseshell cat? Does she really have a tortoiseshell? Dear Karen, you share, you have so much difficulties to open or connect with people, feel disconnect with society. I'm sorry to hear that, dear Karen. That sounds hard. Human connection is a vital part of being human. We are social creatures. It's in our nature. Glass Ghost, you shared tortoiseshell is black and orange. Oh, interesting. I see. I have seen tortoiseshells that color. You thought that was considered calico, but calico has to have white. Interesting. You have taught me something new. Thank you for that. My terminology of cats is very limited. I just call them by the colors. I got an orange and white cat, and I got a gray and black cat. But here I was, imagining some kind of tortoiseshell. With a cat coming out one side. This is a tortoiseshell cat. A cat tortoise. That's right. If that were a real thing, it would have several. Oh. Or you would have to have several. Oh, I get it, you know, yeah. You want a cat with a turtle shell so bad now? Me too. It's a really slow meowing cat, yeah. Thank you, dear Stephanie, for the rose that you sent a minute ago too. Radhe, Radhe. Oh, sorry, Sky Guardian. You want to make sure that I add the fourth leg? You're right. Only 3. Well, maybe this cat has a story to tell. Mm-hmm. This cat, here's an envelope. They're mailing their 4th leg. This is an organ donor cat. And this cat is so selfless that they're donating their 4th leg. There. You're welcome, Sky Guardian. And thank you, dear Jifaji, for your trio of finger hearts as well. Om Shri Mahalakshmi Lakshmiyai, to use the dative form, Namaha. Thank you, dear Arthur, for your fast burst and rose. Ram Ram. As soon as I talked about a leg in the mail, TikTok asked if you thought this live was appropriate. No, we've crossed about the boundaries. We've gone too far. Sorry for the very graphic depiction. Hello, D-Money. I'm well, how are you doing? That's funny, Marcy. I should Google a chimera cat. I will trip out. Whoa. Yeah, let's look at this. Oh yeah, that's like Two souls fusing as one. Oh, I love this one. Multicolored eyes at the same time. Wow. Shiva and Shakti. Oh. That's definitely an enlightened being. Oh my goodness. That's so cute. I love these. Oh, I love cats. What are these puns, Sky Guardian? The exorcism of Liam Boylan, possessed by evil. 9 lives of terror. The perfect nightmare. The formidable haunting. Switching topics a little bit. Dear D, who in this? You ask for my thoughts on Puritanism. I am unfamiliar with what Puritanism refers to exactly. I've heard this term before. I know it's used in a religious context. Let's see. Puritanism is a set of beliefs and practices that emphasizes strict moral discipline, self-control, and societal reform. I see. Well, there's absolutely value in those things. It can also refer to a Calvinist movement that originated in the 17th century. Some beliefs include a personal experience of salvation through Christ, and that God was the absolute sovereign over all. They also believed in the importance of working hard and controlling oneself, and that pleasure was wrong or unnecessary. Pleasure, I see how it is unnecessary. I'm not sure I would use the term wrong. You can take pleasure in simple things in life. Practices include strict moral discipline and purity as the correct form of Christian life. They also believed in a covenant of obedience. Gotcha. And societal reform. Puritans believed in societal reform to convert the world to the way of Christ. Okay. Everything good so far? And until that part happened. Yeah, we should leave everyone to their own way. Trust the divine path that everyone is already on. No need to convert others. All we have to do is make sure that we are good practitioners. And if you ever did convert anyone, it would be through living such a leading example of all of your virtues that people just are inspired to ask questions about your practice. They go, that person is so happy, so successful. What are their secrets? And they come to you. The Puritans started the Salem witch trials. Oh. Well, we like the witches. We love witches. I've never met a bad witch. No. They're always very kind and loving. Thank you, dear Davis, for the heart me you sent. Hare Krishna. And dear Harisi, thank you for your heart me. Jaya Satchitananda. All roads lead to the top of the mountain. I love the way you put that, Fiddle Leaf. And thank you, dear Jessica, for your heart me too. Om Shivaya. Dear the only S. I hope the S doesn't stand for Santa, because then we're in competition. Namaskaram. Have I ever seen the movie, The Notebook? I was about to when I was in middle school. I had a friend named Gurvir, and Gurvir wanted to challenge me to the Notebook Challenge. He said, what we're going to do is we're going to go through my Indian family's spice cupboard, and we're going to eat the most spiciest foods possible and watch The Notebook, and whoever cries first is the loser. So we had prepared this hangout where we were going to watch The Notebook and eat very spicy food and cry together. So we were preparing the spices, and he got out, I don't know what kind of spice it was, but it was some very brightly colored orange powder. It just looked spicy. And I kid you not, he took out just like a few specks of it, like less than a teaspoon, and he wanted to put it in his mouth to see if it was spicy enough. And it was perhaps the only time I've ever seen someone like instantly projectile vomit into the sink. Thankfully, we were doing this in the correct position, which is in front of a sink. It was just instantly, like the moment it hit his tongue. Anyway, he ended up getting so sick that we didn't watch The Notebook or attempt the spicy food challenge, but his father did make spicy food for us anyway. And it was the spiciest pizza. And you know it was spicy when his father, an Indian man, after taking a bite of his pizza, he looks to us and says, "Do you think this pizza is too spicy?" Meanwhile, I am crying and leaking out of every orifice. Definitely perhaps the spiciest food I've ever had. Yeah, you know you're done for when the Indian man says, "Do you think this is too spicy?" And by that point, I'm sure Gurvir was, I don't know, barely conscious at that point. He had had enough for the day. So anyway, no, I have not seen The Notebook. But why do you ask, dear Stevie? Hello, dear Saeed. You ask, what is my religion? And am I an atheist or Hindu? You're a Muslim, by the way. Well, salam alaikum. My religion, first and foremost, is humanity. When I think about what I believe in, it's what we're capable of, together, as a whole. And we all come from the same place. Physicists call it the singularity. A fellow Muslim may call it Allah. A Christian may call it the Christ or the Holy Spirit. A Jew may call it Adonai. A Buddhist may call it the Dharmakaya. A Hindu may call it Brahman. But regardless of the language that we use to describe the place in which we all come from, I believe in that underlying essence that empowers all of us to do good. What happened to Gurvir? We went our separate ways. He and I, after middle school, had very different friend groups. He was very much into sports, and I was very much not into sports, and naturally we found different friend groups, but I wish him well. And I still savor the moments we had together. I remember it was in his mother's house that I first saw a form of Shiva. And I asked, "What is that?" And he said, "I think it's Shiva." And I remembered that. Shiva. But as most children from Indian parents abroad, they're not as interested in their religion. They're much more interested in Western culture, which is understandable. Hello, Socks. Thank you for the happy holidays wishes. The only yes you share, you asked about the Notebook, because you just watched that movie and your heart actually felt like a heartbreak. Oh, sounds like you really resonated with that story. That's beautiful. Without spoiling it, what part of the story resonates with you? Was it just, the ability for actors to just embody their role, and actresses? Was it the cinematography? Was it the connection to spirit? It's a great love story, shares Fiddle Leaf. Hello, Zen Crab. Echo loves the Notebook. Thank you, dear Karen. And you share that feeling not connected with people is also okay. Respecting your boundaries. I'm so glad to hear you affirm yourself in that way. You're so right. The favorite feminine, you ask, what is Shiva? I'm glad you asked. I wouldn't be able to give you an answer back then, but now I do. Shiva represents oblivion as the lap of creation, as the place which all things find rest in. We speak a great deal in many cultures as the divine, as a creator. But whatever has the ability to create also has the ability to remove or destroy or dissolve. Shiva is that essence of a conclusion of a story, which of course makes room for a new beginning. So in India, Shiva is worshipped along with the creator as a form of the divine, a form of the same divinity, just seen from a different perspective, from the perspective of conclusivity, from rest, of coming to stillness. Salutations, dear Dag. And thank you, dear Strawberry Star Bunny, for your donut. How are you doing, lovely? They only asked what touched you about the Notebook was honestly the whole story, the romance, how the characters ended up in the present. I love that. Well, you're certainly selling it. I may have to watch it. And maybe eat spicy food at the same time. To finally fulfill that role. You are doing okay, shares Strawberry Star Bunny. Well, okay is not bad. And not bad is pretty good. Dear Billy, you share. For a second, your brain was confused whether we were talking about Shiva or the notebook. Well, we are switching between topics pretty quick. But that's okay. We've got many threads forming the tapestry of our life. Love the positivity, shares Dak. So much sadness surrounds. You don't know about me doing spicy food in the notebook? Remember what happened last time? Oh, I do. And it is because of that memory that I feel challenged, inspired to do what Gurveer couldn't. I must continue his legacy. Dear Illust Philosophy, you share you just finished the driest paper you've ever written. Well, that's good. I think it's a lot harder to write on soggy paper. It usually rips. I don't know if you've tried. Yeah, and the ink dissolves too. Your paper was a dialectical exploration on alternative epistemology, the value of dialogical methodology. My goodness, the average syllable length is 4, something like that. Yeah, that's a lot of buzzwords. Now, can I copy your comment? Do I have the ability to do that? No, I don't. That's okay. I want to try something. If I go to ChatGPT and I type in the name of your paper, a dialectical exploration on alternative epistemology, the value of dialogical methodology. The value of dialogical methodology. If I fix my spelling mistakes. Okay. I'll say, I'll show this up on screen so we can have a shared visual of what I'm up to. Dear whom it may concern, consider the paper titled A Dialectical Exploration on Alternative Epistemology, the Value of Dialogical Methodology. I have recently been exploring the possibility of making, I'm misspelling everything, of making academia more accessible to young readers. Could you rephrase my title only using terms that a 5-year-old may understand? Please give top 5 new titles. All right. So, Illust Philosophy, for your 20-page evaluation of an evaluation policy, we could alternatively title it as Talking Together to Learn New Things in Simple Ways. Number 2, different ways of knowing and the power of talking. Number 3, why asking questions and sharing ideas helps us understand. Number 4, learning by talking and thinking together. And drum roll, please. Number 4, learning by talking and thinking together. And drum roll, please. GPT assumes that philosophy is just a lot of talking. That's actually so good. Thank you, dear Christopher, for your heartmeat. Om Namah Shivaya. And it is actually relevant if you read the paper. That's awesome. Well, there you go. You can have that as your subtitle. You can have the main title, A Dialectical Exploration on Alternative Epistemology, the Value of Dialogical Methodology. Subtitle, How Talking Can Help Us See Things in New Ways. The idea is there's no such thing as value-neutral axioms when doing evals. We all have baked-in biases. I see. Well, that does sound very important. I am sorry that it was a dry experience for you, though. What was number 5? Number 5 was how talking can help us see things in new ways. I guess it glitched out for you. The only S you share, you know that movie? The Notebook proved your realization that love can hurt and can cause ups and downs. Yeah, it's very real. Dear Ariana, you're back from taking your cat for a walk. I continue to take joy in that you take your cat for a walk. Illust philosophy you share. The idea is if you see a cylinder only from above, you will only see a circle. And if you see it only from the side, you will only see a square. If you add another perspective, you gain knowledge, not reducible perspective. So you need both views. I like that. To understand it's a cylinder. That's a beautiful and simple idea, which is yet so profound. The favorite feminine you ask, do I do Rubik cubes? Or have I ever? I did used to have a couple Rubik's cubes. I had the 3x3, and I don't think I ever memorized enough rules to be able to solve it. I just followed some tutorial to solve it. But I did memorize how to solve the 2x2, which is by far, except for the 1x1, the easiest Rubik's Cube. So I would practice on the 2x2 Rubik's Cube. Rhiannon, you share. Your cat loves getting fresh air and sniffing around the block, right? I was thinking about cats while I was on a walk today. I was smelling the air. I was thinking, you know, cats and dogs and other animals, they're just so present that they're so stimulated in a good way by everything. They're absolutely involved, smelling the air as you go around the corner, changing, hearing all the sounds, seeing all the sights, feeling the ground beneath your paws. It's just a fully immersive experience. They are locked in. They love it. I'd love to be like that. I want to be locked in the same way. I want to be so involved in a walk that I'm just smelling things, looking at things, feeling the ground beneath my feet, hearing the soundscape. I aspire to be as present, as grounded as a cat on a walk, like yours, dear Rhiannon. They are gurus in that way. Kids are like that too, absolutely. I like your political application of that, dear Illust philosophy. Yeah, it's so important to have a well-rounded perspective, especially in office. Welcome, dear Blue Lily. Thank you for being consistently receptive to any piece shared here. Good morning, dear Anazek, and happy holiday. I will be a blue-eyed cat in my next incarnation, probably. Yeah, knowing me. In the Bhagavad Gita, 6th verse of the 8th chapter, it said, whatever your final thought is, due to your consistent thinking of it, that you shall attain in your next life. Well, what am I going to be thinking about at the time of my demise? Probably a cat. Yeah, just probabilistically speaking. You don't even know Gurvir, but you miss him, dear Sky Guardian. That's sweet that you miss my friend from middle school. It brings you so much joy to see your cat explore, dear Ariana. It brings me joy that it brings you joy. And thank you, Anazek, for your heart me. What is the cat mantra? Om Marjan Marjanaya Namaha. Salutation to cats. Billy, you share, I'll be the first cat to start a new unifying religion. Tell that to the ancient Egyptians. They seem to beat me to it 5,000 years ago. The story I told felt like we were all best friends, share Sky Guardian. That's so wholesome. Mm-hmm. If you think about just how intimate we are as souls and have been for eternity from that perspective, we have all been each other's best friends, long-lost lovers, mothers, brothers, fun uncles, pet lizards, mortal enemies. I'm sure we've played every possible role that we can have with each other, and we're continuing to replay those roles in new combinations. Cats are wonderful, Blue Lily, but have I considered bearded dragons? I think their beard would catch on fire. You know, if I thought about a dragon with a beard, I think they might burn their beard away. Dear Saeed, I'm having deja vu. What is my religion? Am I Hindu or atheist? You asked this before. Were you there to hear my answer? Or is there some part of my answer that I could clarify? Thank you for your greetings, my friend from Bulgaria. Do I know where Bulgaria is? Could I place it on a map? I'm gonna guess Eastern Europe. Maybe, yeah. Eastern Europe is my guess. Hello, Hexakin. Was I my mother? The only S? Well, that would be one way of explaining why I have motherly love for you all. Dear Jay, you had asked what would define a life fulfilled for me. Well, I'm already feeling pretty fulfilled right now. So just as I am in this moment. But didn't the Egyptians worship cats? Asked Billy. You're saying I will be a cat guru. Oh, I see. Well, who knows? Maybe the reason that cats were worshipped in Egypt is because there were cat gurus. And these cat gurus told them the secrets. And then posthumously, they were worshipped. Who knows? Dear Blue Lily, you shared that your bearded dragon, named Boris, short for Ouroboros, nice, is your lovely scale baby. And she goes on walks with you on hot days. Oh, I would love to see that. I really would. That's awesome. Bulgaria is next to Romania, where you are from. The favorite feminine. Wow. You guys are country neighbors. I love the diversity of countries here in the Saṅgha. And thank you for sharing the live, dear Hexakin. I'm in Santa mode. Ho, 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 ho. And thank you for your recent rose, dear Jessica. Hare Krishna. Hello, Queen of Fair. I'm glad my bearded dragon joke made you laugh, dear Glass Ghost. That's a good dad joke. Dear Greg RG, you share you want to reincarnate as a leaf whom is stepped on by someone wonderful. That's so sweet. There is a story of a great rishi, a great seer in Hindu mythology who wished for something similar. His name was Narada, the Deva Rishi. There are many different kinds of rishis, seers. He was a seer that expanded the truth to the divine beings, and then from the divine beings to us many aeons ago. It is said that Narada scratch everything I just said. I'm mistaking Narada for Uddhava, a different character. Everything I said about Narada was true, but actually it's not the protagonist of the story that I'm thinking of. Another great being named Uddhava. Uddhava was very knowledgeable. He had studied all the spiritual scriptures in the world. But upon meeting the Gopis of Vrindavan, oh, that's right, I have to add the schwa back in. Uddhava. Not just Uddhav. Uddhava. After meeting the Gopis in Vrindavan and challenging them to a logic battle, he was unable to sway their devotion to the form of the divine that spoke to their hearts, Sri Krishna. And the Gopis had said in return, "You speak all this Vedanta about how to mechanically get your mind situated on the divine. We constantly are immersed in having the divine in our minds. Everywhere we go, the divine is there with us. There has not been a moment in our life where the divine has left our awareness. And when Uddhava-ji realized the true nature of these gopis, these milk maidens' realization, he said, "In my next life, O Lord, I do not wish to be reincarnated as Uddhava again. I do not even wish to be reincarnated as Brahma, the creator. I wish to be reincarnated as a leaf, as a shrub, as a vine, as a creeper, as a blade of grass, so that I may receive the grace of even the dust that falls from the feet of these gopis." Such is the nature of their realization. Hello, Tamia. Hello, dear Mermander. I am well, thank you. How are you, dear? That is right, Sky Guardian. Yes, I had a nice walk today with my friend, dear Mermander. How are you? And how is Fish? And hello, I am me of the one. You've got a great memory, dear Greg RG. And dear Jessica, thank you for those trio of roses. Om Brahm Bhairavaya Namo Namaha. Dear Billy, you share, if you came back as a leaf, you'd want to be in a pile of leaves that kids jump in. I love that. The favorite feminine, you ask, what is my day job or what do I study to be? My day job is being the best human as I can. And I study to be the best human that I can. and I work and study 24/7 in that role. Well, not 24/7 exactly. Actually, no matter what identity we hold dear, all of us merge into Source in deep sleep. And in that deep sleep, we are no more human than we are a butterfly, or a grain of sand, or a leaf, or the sun, or moon. Yes, though you may have missed some details, Greg RG, you recall the essence, and that is the most important. And I do make you more curious. What is my occupation, dear Hexagon? I told you! I am occupied by my humanity. You love this musical background at the moment, dear G to Infinity. The wonderful playlist. Dear Chris, I mentioned, or you took it as that young human souls are often bad. Is that always true? Are there bad souls? Goodness and badness, these are qualities of the mind. The soul is theoretically nirguna, which literally means beyond quality. The soul is neither good nor bad, like a canvas behind a painting. It's up to the individual whether they call a painting good or bad or something else. But is the canvas behind any painting good or bad? Can you look at a canvas and say, oh, something good's there or something bad's there? Only when we're talking about the forms that are on top of that painting do these qualities come in. Or when you listen to a song, you can say that the song is good or bad. But what about the silence that's behind the song? Is the silence good or bad? How about when a dancer begins her performance by first finding that center, and there's a moment of stillness that she returns to after as well? Is that stillness good or bad? This is the nature of the soul. It is the silence behind the music. It is the canvas behind the painting. It is the stillness behind the dance. It is the space behind the light. It has no qualities of its own for the very nature of allowing space for qualities to arise. You, at your highest level, are the space of this experience itself. This is perhaps a new concept for many people. So let me go slowly. Typically, we identify with the body. We say, this is who I am, or what we see in the mirror, or what my friends say about us, or our talents, or our aspirations, or the thoughts in our mind, or how we feel. We say, that is who I am. But our ancestors knew of a different truth as preserved in our spiritual tradition. That your highest nature is not any part of the experience, but the space of the experience. That if you could see past what you can see with your eyes, if you can hear past what you can hear with your ears, if you can think past what you can think with your mind, if you can feel past what you can feel with your skin, in that totality of spatial experience is you. Like the screen behind all the characters in the movie, you are the conscious witness, alive within everything, and that cannot be considered good or bad. Goodness and badness exists in mind only, and it depends on what the mind is thinking, which mind is thinking it. You could have the exact same person be considered as good from one angle and bad from another. All it is a perspective that one mind may have and another mind may differ in. But all the perspectives come from the same place, the same source that we all are collectively. It is the sum of all perspectives that you are in essence. Just like a canvas is in essence the sum of all possible paintings that could be painted on, and silence is in essence the sum of all sounds that could be sung through, and stillness is in essence the sum of all movements that could be acted upon. So what happens to bad paintings? They wait until the perspective changes from bad to better, to good, to great, and then some. Just as beauty is in the eye of the beholder, sometimes we have to wait until we are in the presence of something that witnesses the goodness in us, and then we can unfold to reveal the deeper truths behind our brushstrokes, behind our color palette, behind the painting of our life. And thank you, dear Anna, for the rose you had sent. Om Gang Ganapataye Namaha. And dear Hybrid Jen, thank you for your 14 roses. Radhe Radhe. And thank you, Link, for your heart me as well. Om Namah Shivaya. There's also a new trend. Have you seen people buying old vintage paintings from thrift stores, and then they use that as a base to add something? And you could say these paintings find a new life, even when it seems as though they were discarded. In a new presence, in a new light, these paintings are given a new life. And they bring joy that had yet to be seen. You know what I'm talking about, dear Rhiannon. There were a few of those at this art auction you went to last night. I love that. And you do that, dear Fiddle Leaf. Goodbye, dear Billy. Family is important. Dear Phoenix. There is room for prayers for your pickle puppy. You have found Pickle. I'm so happy to hear that. Pickle has finished marinating in the juices of life. Much love. You call them collaborations over time, shares Fiddle Leaf. I love that. Yeah. Just imagine you buy an unknown Picasso and you start to paint on it. That'd be so cool. Oh, that would give it so much meaning. You never know. Thank you, dear Mihina, for your subscription too. Or shall I say, Grandma Fairy, and for your enchanting love that you share here. Om Brahm Hanumate Namaha. Dear Hexakin, you share, don't people say deeds are more important than thoughts for people to show if they're bad or good? Absolutely. When I say goodness or good and bad exists in the mind, I am not referring to labeling a person as good or bad based on what's in their mind. I'm referring to how we label other things as good or bad based on what's in our mind. So the source of the label of good and bad exists within the mind. But indeed, actions are an expression of a person's values, principles. But even then, I have made many an action in my life that could be considered bad. But as long as people see in me the goodness of what I'm capable of, I know I will continue to succeed. Thank you, dear Jen, for your pair of tiny tinies. Yippee! And dear Kev, thank you for your heart, me too. Ram, ram. D to infinity, you share, you feel the holidays needs to be as simple as this moment, together with kind friends, being merry. I love that. Yeah. Dear Hexagon, you share, deeds can also be deceptive coming from certain people. It is true. But it is not up for any of us to look for the faults in others. It is up to us to look for the deceptions in our own actions and allow ourselves to become more vulnerable, truthful, and honest. Whenever we look at another person's actions, let us ask, instead of, is this deed deceptive? Am I receptive to the good that they are doing? Regardless of intention, can I imbibe at least one trait of goodness that I see in another? Then every interaction becomes a learning experience. Sometimes people begin good actions with poor intentions, but over time they grow to love the action and grow in their intentions also. Just like those rom-coms where, let's say, a girl who is less popular than the other girls, she gets asked out on a date by one of the popular guys as a bet. $50 if you can take out her on a date. And originally, he was doing it for the money. But then he fell in love with her. So sometimes we can go into actions with an intention that could be better. And indeed, as we continue in those actions, our intentions change for the better also. That's actually a movie script called She's All That. Well, there you go. Thank you, dear Grandma Fairy, for your hanging lights. Om Durgaye Namaha. Like how you initially joined this live to troll 2 years ago, dear Sky Guardian. Well, your mischief has not gone anywhere. But perhaps your feelings have. Babel Fishy, thank you for your finger heart too. Om Sum Suryaya Namaha. Link, you share what matters most is how we perceive our experience and how we learn from the mistakes. I like the way you put that. And dear Kev, thank you for your fest burst, your fest crown and fest cheers. It is a festive time. Om Som Somaya Namaha. And dear Hybrid Jen, thank you for your perfume. Om Aim Saraswatyai Namaha. A lot of people go through the public service as an alternative for jail time. And they end up really liking the volunteer work because it was such a meaningful and purposeful time in their life that they continue even after the tenure has ended. The only yes. What did you have a question? Yeah, dear Jay, you had asked, do I have a daily practice of meditation or devotion? Yes, it is this. These live streams are my sadhana, my spiritual practice. Yeah, we've been doing these live streams daily for about a year now. This is the request. I don't think the comment is coming through the only S. If you're referring to a request, I don't see one, unfortunately. And Tattvamasi, thank you for your trio of roses. Jaya Lahiri Mahasaya. Sorry about the filters, the only S. And dear kissy face, or kiss mark, can I answer your question? I will do my best. Yes. If you had sent a question, I don't see that question either, unfortunately. Dear Grandma Fairy, you ask, how do I let go of someone who will never love you back? All the people that I fell in love with that ended up not loving me back did love me back in a different way. For example, all of the crushes that never ended up leading to something in my life, I ended up having a friendship with them. And friendship is built on love. Just a different kind of love. Platonic love. For the people that excluded me from their life in other ways, they loved me enough to give me the space to discover my own independence. When I was very young, I would love with my whole heart, and that overwhelmed people. And they rightly so set boundaries with me. And as such, that was a kind of love, because they knew that it wasn't healthy for me to do so. And so it came from a place of wanting me to be more healthy, with a kind of dependence I have on others. I think you can look at any situation and realize that love is always there. It just comes in different forms. It just might not be the love that you want, but it's always the love that you need. Okay, dear, that's your name now. You ask, what beautiful songs do I recite? Well, if you're referring to the sounds like Om Bhur Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. If you can excuse my dissonance with the background music. These are ancient short poems in a language called Sanskrit. Now, do I see your comment coming through yet, the only S? I do not see it. I'm sorry, that must be frustrating for you, dear Stevie. You're very welcome, dear Grandma Fairy. Yeah, sometimes love can come in the space that they give to you. To find yourself. Oh, what a powerful sentiment. I love you and your bloodline. Oh, I've never heard that before. Thank you. Which is my phonetic transliteration of your emoji name. Dear Super Dave, you ask, do I know what kind of important information is in the Dead Sea Scroll? Sanskrit? No, the Dead Sea Scrolls are not in Sanskrit. I believe they are in an early version of Hebrew. Maybe a little bit of Aramaic, if I'm not mistaken, which is also a very ancient language. Let me double check that for you. Yeah. And there's a small number in Aramaic and ancient Greek. They're the earliest version we have of various manuscripts in the Bible. And that includes various scriptures that didn't end up making it into the Bible too. So it is the earliest textual reference that scholars have for the Bible. I believe it's found in a cave near the Dead Sea. And just the airedness and all the salt made it very easy to preserve these ancient scrolls. It's a relatively recent discovery. And it has made biblical analysis a lot easier, given that we have such a source close to the original dates that it's believed. Many of these scriptures were first written down. You love that I call you Stevie? Dear the only S. Well, I'm hoping that the reason I haven't been is because I didn't know if it was a private thing for you to have your name. But a wave of faith came over me when I said it, and I felt like you wouldn't mind. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite nickname now? I'm sure you probably could transliterate that into an African language, because in various African languages you do involve various clicks, like that one between the lips. I was right, Hybrid Gen. Impersonating people sent you a follow from Yamsox 7. It is unfortunate. Yeah, if you ever get a follow from me, it's not me, unfortunately. I would love to be able to follow everyone back, but it would be probably not the best decision, given that you could confuse it with other people that use these live streams with my name and profile picture to do their scams, unfortunately. Now let's see, did your comment come through yet? The only S. I don't think so, not yet. Try typing it out one word at a time. One word per comment, maybe. That is an idea. Your most recent book you've read is Beyond Duality, and you suggest anyone who is awakening to read it. Thank you for the suggestion, dear. Thank you for sharing the live, dear Spirit Fire D. And Butterfly, thank you for the flower, or the follow. But a follow is kind of like a flower. Let's do a masculine mantra meditation. Now it came through. Yeah, good idea. We actually just did one recently. Om Arum Brahmane Namaha. Depending on if you realize Brahman as the masculine, which complements the feminine, or as the one, you can realize it in both senses. Yeah, I do have a guided meditation planned tonight, but I will keep it in mind for next time, dear Stevie. Oh, you did send a gift, dear Butterfly, too. You sent a finger heart. Thank you for that. Om Namah Shakti Shivaya. And dear Strawberry Star Bunny, thank you for the rose that you had sent. And Maid Jartai Handa, thank you for your team bracelet. Om Namah Parashaktiyai. No, wait. Om Namah Parashaktaye. Gotta make sure I have the right case ending, or the mantra won't work. No, just kidding. All that matters is the love in our heart. The inquiry was so non-offensive. Filters are silly sometimes, right? Yeah. Dear Butterfly, you had asked, do I work with a creator network? I'm not sure what a creator network is. Yeah. I am actually part of an agency, technically. But that is like, just in case I ever get banned, I have a contact person, but I've thankfully never had to do that, so I've never been in contact with them. Thank you, dear Fiddly Fig, for sharing the live. Does one require an agency to go live? No, it's just an added layer of security. How it works is basically an agency gets a percentage of the money that would go to TikTok. So TikTok splits the money that is received through the donations with the live streamer and the platform. An agency gets a percentage of the money that would go to TikTok. So the amount of money that I get doesn't change, but the amount of money that TikTok gets changes. And in return, what they do is they offer tutorials on how to be a good live streamer, and sometimes some agencies watch your lives, and if they have any recommendations, they'll tell you what you can do next time. I have never been in contact with them other than that first time that we agreed to sign up, agreed for me to sign up. They just leave me do my own thing. Even in the original interview, they said, you know, because I think I'm one of their biggest content creators, they don't actually generally allow people over 500,000 followers into their agency, because it's more for new streamers. So given my experience, they said, you don't really need any of the tutorials. You are already pretty good. So it's been pretty hands-off, and we haven't had a single conversation in the year that we've been together. But it's good to know that if ever I got banned, that I could talk with them. So yeah, I haven't ever mentioned them because it's not in my contract to really be involved with them at all, and it doesn't cost me any money. It's like your old landlords. You just paid the rent and they left you alone and you barely spoke. It's business. You ask, do I think agency should be recommended for you? You want to do music and spiritual lives soon? If you feel like you're at risk for getting banned, or if you feel like you can benefit from those live stream tutorials, really what they do is they teach you how to do those battles. I don't really know what they are, but I see in my inbox that they send out messages on Discord, like, here's a lesson on how to win those TikTok battles and things like that. Anyway, I don't do that kind of live streaming anyway, so I wouldn't know what the content of those lessons are, but yeah, because it's not actually because you don't actually pay. I think it's not that risky, but I would read the contract in case you're signing up for something you don't want to. My contract is very simple. I have to stream like more than a couple hours at least a week, but I'm already doing that anyway, and I was already doing that anyway. So given the fact that I was doing that already, means that I'm basically getting free benefits. And it's actually a good system because they're actually paid for by TikTok, and the idea is not for the sake of giving money to agencies, but it helps the platform. It helps more live streamers be live streamers, basically. The logic is pretty clear there. Anyway, that is probably the least exciting topic there is. now. Switching topics. Thank you, dear Dub Darker, for your heart me. Om Kring Kali Kaye Namaha. And dear Kevin, thank you for your heart me too. Om Kamalir Maha Kali Kaye Namaha. Dear It's All Legos, hello. You share your heart is broken. Your beloved broke up with you. You are so full of self-doubt. Well, don't do that. Breaking up is never because you are somehow incapable of loving. It's always because the trajectory of a person's life is differing. That the time you shared, though precious and full of wonderful moments, was a part of a much greater journey. And so you can't doubt the fact that we have different needs, and those needs change, and sometimes they change at a different rate or in a different way than others. That is not something that you are wrong in. It is the nature of relationships to evolve and change. And you are now discovering a time of independence. And this time is for you to empower yourself. But grief is going to be a part of that process. You are absolutely allowed to be sad. And this reflection is a learning experience. And all relationships are meant to be. I don't like when people say, it wasn't meant to be. When people break up, it was absolutely meant to be. Yeah, but meant to be doesn't always mean that you live the rest of your life together. Sometimes it was meant to be that you shared this time together and then went off to explore other things in your life. That can also be meant to be. Everyone in your life is meant to be. I like the way you put that, G. This experience doesn't somehow lose value the moment it's over. All the love you had continues to make a difference in your life. All of the lessons will continue to play a role in your continued happiness. Remember that a relationship was never the source of your happiness, but a space for your happiness. Ultimately, we're looking for someone to share our happiness with, not extract happiness from. So all of that happiness that you got to experience with this person is still there. Now the space has changed. Consider having known a dance. Maybe you learned how to dance a certain set of moves, and you got to experience that dance with someone on a stage. And every day you would go and you dance together on that stage. And the joy was in the dance itself. and having the space to do so. That dance hasn't gone anywhere. The space has gone. Now the stage is being used for something else. What's filling that space is now different. But even if you're not dancing now, you still know how to dance that dance. That still continues within you. And who knows, you could be out for a walk sometime and you find this beautiful clearing and it just reminds you of that stage that you used to dance on. And so you dance there. And it's a little different because now you have to adapt to the grass and the rocks and the trees. So you change up a little bit the dance, but it's still the same expression of joy. Now it's just a different space. The same is true for the people in our life. It's one love the whole time. Whether you go from one person to the next, it's always the same love, but a different stage to share that love. And that's the nature of our bodies and our minds. Don't get so caught up on where the dance is being performed, on what body is serving as the stage for this love to dance on. Recognize the love and you shall feel it wherever you go. You don't want your heart to harden or close up, no. But you can let it break. But let it break open. You feel like being vulnerable is so much more scary now? Absolutely. Yeah. It is true. Because you don't have that safe place anymore to be vulnerable. But perhaps some of those uncomfortable feelings are a sign that maybe this space is a grace that we've been given to find safety here. Because if we were dependent on another person to feel safe, then, well, that leads us to positions like this, where now we're feeling insecure. So, from another sense, it can be a blessing that the universe has given us, a chance for us to realize that something that we were depending on in another can be found within. Can you create that space of love and acceptance within you? You certainly deserve it. And you never have to apologize for being a mess. Your vulnerability is beautiful. I like that, the only S. Just close your eyes and say to yourself, I welcome to my infinite source of love 12 times or more. Hello, Alec. Oh, I'm glad you love the color blend. Thank you for the follow, dear Melanie. Clever username you've got. Your vulnerability made her run away? No, that's not it. Your vulnerability is attractive. Vulnerability is a green flag. 1000%. If someone ran away because of your vulnerability, it's probably because Your vulnerability reminds them of just how much they have hidden away. And so they're running away from themselves. That they see in you an awareness that they're scared of because it penetrates to the core of things that they're not ready to be vulnerable with. That says more about them than it does you. Thank you, Mr. Blue, for your trio of ice cream cones. Om Yam Hridaya Kashaya Namaha. Dear MJ, thank you for your hand hearts too. Om Mani Padme Hum. Dang, read your mind again, Yam? Okay. You're lacking in calcium. If you want stronger bones, you should have calcium in your diet. Sorry, I read your bones, not your mind. Dear, it's all Legos. You share, she's dismissive, avoidant. You're anxious, attached. Your ability to be aware of these things is wonderful. Sometimes our awareness can be so sharp that we can cut ourselves with it. Though we might feel like the solution is to dull the blade, during this time where our awareness is so acute that its sharpness can cut deep, we can be so self-critical and analyze and cut ourselves into pieces with the sharpness of the blade of the intellect. It's ever so pertinent that we do not dull the blade, and by that I mean seek patterns of coping and mechanisms which ultimately get us to forget. Best thing you can do is feel your feelings. Allow yourself to feel them without judgment, and hold that gaze steady. You're always welcome to reflect on your actions, but remember to do so from a place of love. And you hold the blade of one's mind steady. Hello, Crown Prince. Dear Hybrid Gen, you share, you were thinking if aliens might show up, Buddhists would be the most gentle, welcoming. Natives too. Have it told in hieroglyphics. Did you spell that right? You spelled it perfect. Your mind is drifting. I would love the Buddhists to be the welcomers. Yeah. The most fundamental thing in Buddhism is something most universal. Just like how Christianity, actually not just Christianity, but Abrahamic traditions have the 10 Commandments. There's the 4 Noble Truths of Buddhism. The first sermon the Buddha ever gave was on the 4 Noble Truths. And the Noble Truths expand into all of Buddhist philosophy. And the first Noble Truth is the most important. And you can extrapolate the other 3 Noble Truths from the first. And therefore all of the rest of Buddhism, just from one truth. It is the most quintessential part of Buddhism. That is, let me ask you, do you know? Trivia. What is the first noble truth of Buddhism? Thank you, Desiree. That suffering exists. That's right, dear. It's all Legos. Yeah. Which means that wherever a Buddhist goes, the fundamental principle in their heart is to look for the universality of suffering. So I would imagine that if a Buddhist were to greet an alien, the first thing they'd say or think is, "I'm sure you've had a long journey. Is there anything I can do now that you're here on Earth to make you more comfortable? Did your spaceship get damaged along the way? Are you feeling tired? Are you hurt from the radiation?" Because suffering is universal, then aliens suffer too. So a Buddhist is going to empathize with that first. So absolutely, when the aliens come, let's get all the Buddhist monks and push them to the front of the line. Thank you for sharing the live, dear Brittany. And thank you, Hybrid Jen, for your 28 roses. Om Tam Namashchantaraya. And thank you, Birdfire, for your follow. And perhaps aliens are already in contact with the Buddhists, right? Probably a good thing that it would be just the Buddhists. If it had to be just anyone, yeah. Dear the only S, you share enlightened yogis should meet those aliens as well. Absolutely. Maybe they are, in the form of thoughts which enlighten. I love that, dear Gregarji. Maybe the most intelligent form of life are positive thoughts themselves, profound ideas, and uplifting concepts. And they live through us, reproducing in our minds, traveling through our words, our stories, a whole layer of life which we normally consider as inanimate. It's all Legos. You ask, how does one grow to truly appreciate pain? Is it just as simple as being with it enough willingly? The fact that you ask such wise questions during such a time of pain is the answer to your question itself. Curiosity, being open to ask questions about what this experience means for me, how you can grow through it. And I like the answer you gave too, as just being with it enough. What does being mean? If we're being with our friends, with our family, it's always lively, isn't it? We can associate pure beingness with absolute stillness, but when you are being there for your friends, you're absolutely engaged. You're listening, you're asking questions, you're nodding, you're holding space for them, you're attending to their needs. Being there for them is highly bi-directional, engaging. Being there with your pain is not merely being absolutely still with it, but in the same way, asking questions just as you have exemplified so beautifully, staying curious, listening, attending to any need that pops up. If you need a Kleenex or a tissue, get a tissue. If your body needs some rest, give it rest. Be there for the pain, not just with the pain. You know when someone's a good listener, not just when they're perfectly silent, but when they are able to ask questions that are relevant to your story, when they're able to pick out the words and feelings and relay them back to you in the same way. How can you be a good listener to the song of our tears and the woes of our heart? We do just the same. It's all egos. You share, you thought attention was love, and that's why you're so confused. Until I said she maybe wasn't ready, and maybe she wasn't. You need to decide what story you're going to tell, and it's a reminder to listen even more mindfully. Well said. You're right. Attention is love. And just as a person can have stage fright due to all the attention, we can be scared of love too, and some people are scared of love. There's no question about that. Love requires opening up in return. That requires vulnerability. And it is scary, scary, scary. To open up to someone, one of the bravest things you can do. She's still learning how to be brave, and that's her journey. And we wish them well. Thank you, dear Scott, for your fast burst. Om Shring Mahalakshmyai Namaha. Yes, I feel your love, the only S. And Hybrid Jen, you share your heart broke unlike anything you've ever experienced to bring you to listen to Buddhism. I remember my friend and brother in spirit, Nish the fish. Something that he spoke which touched my heart, and one of the teachings that he gave once that I attended. In my life, I was getting very analytical in my academic journey, aspiring to be a theoretical physicist or mathematician. I was getting lost in the world of logic and pure reasoning, rationality, skepticism. But eventually a door opened, and I found some Buddhist truths to really speak to my heart and lead me to a place beyond these machinations of pure logic. And the way Nish put it, he said, sometimes you need the Buddha to throw you a rope and reel you back into the shore of spirituality. And I really appreciated it. Yeah, absolutely. The Buddha threw me a rope, and I pulled myself out of that quagmire of pure deduction and into the bliss of not knowing and wonder. Hello, dear Mirna. Or should I say, an owl? Who? You ask. This is a fellow content creator on TikTok named Nish the Fish. He is very educated and experienced in many forms of Eastern philosophy, including Kashmir Shaivism, Tantra, Shaktiism, and the lineage of Ramakrishna Paramahansa, as well as even Christian mysticism, and many more. And thank you everyone for being so kind to our fellow Sanghis, like it's all Legos. And it is all Legos. Sometimes things fall apart, but the building blocks are all there for you to make something new again. It's all Legos. Lego my ego. Let go my ego. Sounds like I cracked open, shares Fiddly Fig. Yes. Crack I did. Thank you, dear Hybrid Jen, for your 23 fast bursts. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Hello, dear Maya. Just an FYI, I love you all, shares Crown Prince. Hear that, everyone? You are loved. Kev, you share, stepping on Lego is suffering. I used to purposefully step on Lego so that I would toughen my soul. In the same way, we can step on our ego and have that toughen our soul. Your Christmas tree is made up of Legos this year, shares Crown Prince. Wow. That must take a lot of Lego. Unless it's a itty bitty one. Not a 2 scale. I like that. Dear Osaka, you ask, what are my pronouns? Ahamsa Soham. The Sanskrit mantra for I am He with a capital H. He I am. He referring to that divinity which pervades us all, the Divine Father. But that's only half of me. That's only half of us. I am she. She I am, being the Divine Mother, our nature, masculinity, femininity. We all are 100, 100. Not 50-50. Did I say only half? Actually, we are 100% masculine and 100% feminine at the same time. Because the force of the divine masculine is fully here now. The force of the divine feminine is fully here now. And they are inseparable. You cannot have one without the other. So I am honored to go by the pronouns of she and her, to honor my mother, to honor Mother Nature. Even though this body is male, to be associated with the feminine is an honor. Likewise, the masculine. Whatever you use for me, I graciously accept. Knowing that it is within my nature to be both. Dear Magdalene has shared that they are sending unconditional love to everyone's heart in the form of a comforting hug. I guess it's time for a group hug. Ho, 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 ho. You fell asleep but came back to a group hug, shares Marcy. Well, good morning, beautiful. It's a new day. The sun has not risen for you yet, but it will. Just for you. You wish we could have a real group hug. There's Myrna. Well, nothing quite like a physical hug indeed, but that doesn't mean we cannot feel embraced at a more spiritual level, where we are closer than even the atoms that touch from one body to another. The good question, dear Crown Prince. You share that you're sure someone's asked this already, but what's your favorite number? Yours is 4. I like that question. I would love to know everyone's favorite number. 4 is a great number. 4 is great because it's the fixed point when using the number 2 in combination with itself in every hyper operation. 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 to the power of 2 is 4. 2 tetrated twice is 4. 2 pentated twice is 4. 2 hexa... You don't know these operations? Okay, I'll stop there. They stopped teaching you what's after exponentiation, but it continues infinitely. 72 shares It's All Legos. 72. That's a nice multiple of 12, isn't it? 6 times 12. And 6 is 2 times 3. And 12 is 2 times 2 times 3. So yours is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. Is that it? 2 to the 3 times 3 to the 3. That's a great number. Yours is 11, dear Fiddle Leaf. We love our ones. First double-digit prime number. You take 2 of them together, you get Blue Lily's favorite number 22, which is 11 plus 11. Hybrid Jen, you like 42, which is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Or 12. Number with a lot of nice factors. Amount of knuckles we have. Isn't that right? On our fingers. Good for counting in duodecimal. Or 7. The luckiest prime. You're like 3, dear Sylvia. The first odd prime number. These are all good numbers. Dear Grandma Fairy, you like 8,488. That's a nice big number. That is a very specific number too. I would love to know the story behind that. Waking up to math. That's not as fun as a group hug, shares Marcy. Greg RG, you ask, what if you told me that your favorite number was negative pi? Well, I'd say you're being negative and irrational. And it could do you good to be more positive and rational. But actually, negative pi is transcendental. And transcendence is a good one. You love 23 or 32, dear Evilise. You see them all the time, everywhere. 23 is a nice prime number. 32 is a great power of 2. 2 to the 5, I believe. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. $69 looks cool, shares Hypergen. Yes, that is... It is a very nice, rotationally symmetric pair of numbers, isn't it? Mm-hmm. $72 is great, dear Deanna. Oh, Fiddleleaf, you like negative I. Ah, yes. The other square root of negative 1. That's a good one. Yeah. Oh, you shouldn't ask the question what my favorite number is, though. We'll be here all day, telling you all of my favorite numbers. But perhaps we can explore the zany world of mathematics. I forgot about this try. Oh, it's too bright. Oh, the brightness. Pull me back into the dark. There we go. You're like 613, dear Marcy. And 79, shares Myrna. 37 keeps coming up. There's G2 Infinity. That's a good one, too. One of my favorite numbers is -1. But did you know that the negative sign is unnecessary? That actually there's another way of writing -1. This is going to blow your mind. It's an area of math they don't teach you called p-adics. You see, in school, eventually you were taught that after the decimal place, numbers can go on forever infinitely. 3.14159, etc. What they don't teach you is that decimals can go forever to the left too. -1, and I bet you've never seen this before. In base 10, -1 is equal to 999999999 forever. 0.0. That is what -1 is. It's 9 repeating to the left instead of to the right. You don't believe me? It's true. -1 is equal to 9 repeating. And I can prove it to you. Here's the proof. Well, what's the definition of -1? The definition is that -1 plus 1 gets you right back at 0. So, let's take this number that I'm claiming is -1. The secret identity, without the minus sign, goes on forever. And let's add 1. We all know how to add 1. 9 plus 1, 10. So it's 0, carry the 1. 1 plus 9. Oh, wait, we already, sorry, my apologies. Yeah, what? I was going to add this 1 to that 9. I forgot we already added that 1 to this 9. I'm forgetting how to do basic arithmetic. No, we're adding this 1 to that 9. Been a while. 1 plus 9 is 10. So 0. Carry the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10. So 0. Carry the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10. 0. Carry the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10. 0. And is there ever going to be another number here besides 0? Because it goes on forever, this number is just zeros. 99999 repeating, plus 1. So this number plus 1 is 0. Therefore, it must be -1. In fact, every negative number is actually just a number so positive that it's bigger than all of the other positive numbers, that it somehow wraps around, you could say. In this field of mathematics, studying the numbers that have infinite digits to the left are called p-adics. And so that's the secret identity of -1. Every other arithmetic property is equivalent to -1. If you play around with that number, you'll find absolutely no difference other than the way you write it. In fact, when I used to do mathematics in my free time, what I would research is other numbers besides the positives and negatives in that number space. It turns out there's more than just the positives and negatives when you look at the infinite digits. I'll just do one more because I don't want to bore everyone who are not interested in math. But this is one of the numbers that I realized is different from all the others. If you take the number 1.01010101, etc., but also to the left it goes 01010101. So something really interesting happens with this number. When we continue to add it to itself, first it becomes 2.020202, etc. in both directions. And then it becomes 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then it shifts over, because once it gets to 10, then it becomes 0101010101, etc. in both directions. And then if you keep adding, then it becomes 11 in all directions, then 12, 13, etc. And eventually you get all the way up to 99. But the moment you hit 100, it loops back on itself. So this is a number that if you add it to itself 100 times, you get back to itself. But it's definitely a number that's different from 0. The only other number that you are familiar with that does this is 0. Of course, if you add 0 to itself 100 times, then you get 0, the same number. But this number is very different. It behaves differently every time you keep adding itself to itself until you do it 100 times. Then the whole thing moves over, and because it's infinite, it overlaps on itself and it returns to 1010101001. So this number is neither positive nor negative. It's actually a number that exists in a different number space called modular arithmetic. There are a whole bunch of different kinds of numbers that have yet to be discovered. We're still discovering new numbers. And so if you think we've discovered all the numbers yet, all the different kinds, well, have it be known that there are so many more numbers that exist, kinds of numbers that exist, than we will ever have time to explore as our humanity. Even if our humanity lives for trillions of years, we will never discover all the different kinds of numbers that can exist. Blue Lily, you ask, what is my favorite math problem or equation? We'd be here all night. Maybe we can continue exploring these things tomorrow. I would like to think about wrapping up tonight in a little bit. I just know that if I started talking about that I'd be here for hours, and I have to also consider my bedtime. Dear Fiddly Fig, you ask, does that number do the same thing in different bases other than base 10? Yeah, that number does behave differently in different bases. You're absolutely right. Can we please meditate the only us? Yes, we can. Who needs sleep when you can math? People who do too much math definitely need sleep. I know from experience, staying up all night doing math. Dear John James, you ask, is there a base where pi is rational, and does it have to do with E? Well, yes, base pi. In base pi is just 1, 0. In any base, the base itself is just 1, 0. In base 10 is 1, 0. In base 2 is 1, 0. In base pi is 1, 0. Actually, that's something that I proved one time recreationally. One of the things I proved was that in a base system, for the base itself to represent an irrational number as what looks like rational, the base itself would have to be rational, and in fact, in the case of pi, transcendental also. Somewhere I have a paper that proved just that. Whether it's rational in base E is an unknown question. That's called the algebraic independence of pi and E. It's a currently unsolved problem in mathematics. Whether pi and E are algebraically related or not. That is to say, if pi is just some form of E algebraically. It's probably not, at the very least, rationally dependent. That is to say, we don't believe that that some rational multiple of pi equals E. But we don't actually know. It could be the case that E is just some fraction of pi. But it's an unsolved problem. A very difficult area of mathematics called algebraic independence. And thank you, It's All Legos, for your dozen tiny tinies you sent. Yippee! And dear Hybrid Jen, thank you for your septet of roses. Radhe, Radhe. John, you share math might be the most beautiful thing in the universe. I don't know, I think you're up there, John. And the wonder that you find in it, I think that is pretty beautiful. Thank you for the reminder to drink water, dear Blue Lily. Take a sip with me, that is one of the cutest things. Would you take a sip of water with me so I know you're hydrated? I'm actually drinking space. I'm drinking pure space itself. Yeah. They say, is the glass half full or half empty? Well, given that mine's the vacuum of space itself, I think it's all empty. Yeah. Oh, maybe it wasn't completely empty. Galaxy liquid. You're right, it's all Legos. I'm drinking everything and nothing all at once. A Galaxy? Wow. That is one of the worst puns I've ever heard. And the best thing about puns is that the worse they are, the better they are. That a good pun is the one that leaves you speechless. That one definitely left me speechless. So thank you. Alright. Let us transition. Wait, not before I ask you my question of the day. Which is, why is self-hygiene important? You don't know when you will be sleep shares Stevie. But you take melatonin, so you shall see. You may be clonked out before we get to the meditation. Alright, it's all Legos. Your answer of the day is that it's a rudimentary form of self-love. Absolutely. Yeah. Great answer. We did have fun tonight, dear Lex. Yeah, this live was mostly just goofing off, wasn't it? That's fun. Dear Lex, you share, self-hygiene is important to keep our temples pure, clean, open, ready. Oh. Yeah. The temple of our body. Dear Mirna, you ask, what is self-hygiene? I love how I get to tell you about these words, which are of course familiar to me in my native language, but not for you as second or third language. Hygiene includes things like brushing our teeth, taking a bath, washing our hands, cleanliness. Hygiene may include wearing a mask when you're out in public and you have a disease that another person could catch, or you're around other people that could catch a disease. Hygiene is a necessary part of surgery that increases the life expectancy dramatically. The only S you share, self-hygiene is not only self-love, but it is a good way to get in the flow of doing necessary stuff. To get in the flow of responsibility. And thank you for being so open to It's All Legos. You are truly special. That's what makes this space special. Good morning, dear Donsuela. You think you needed a rest as you fell asleep throughout most of the life? Hey, I'm so happy to hear that you got some rest. It's good. Jay, you share, self-hygiene is important because we are one with God and must respect what is. I love that. This body isn't mine, it's God's. I should take good care of it. Hybrid Gen, you share, health issues will emerge if you do not. Very true. And dear Mirna, you share, physical hygiene, you know. You thought we were talking about spiritual hygiene. Oh, we could take the question there. In fact, I was hoping someone would. Dear Grandma Fairy, you shared, makes you feel good inside and out. Do a spa night, taking care of your temple. I love that. My mom was just telling me about how she used to dedicate Tuesdays to herself. She would always be out with friends doing things. My mom's name is Laurel, and she called Tuesdays Laurel days or Laurel nights. And she would just, take care of her body and her mind. And I think we all could use Hybrid Gen nights, Mirna nights, Donsuela nights, Emma Fairy nights, etc. Also an opportunity to be present. Oh, I love that addition, Fiddle Leaf. I'm so grateful to have such a a wise mom. Dear Dean, you share, clean the outer to cleanse the inner, perhaps. Beautifully said. John James, you share, self-hygiene is important as a courtesy to others too. Absolutely. Yeah. Something that we actively do for others. Grandma Fairy spa night. Exactly. You get told to, dear Hybrid Gen, but you struggle with planning. Well, you know what they say. Those that love you will make time for you. So if you continue to love yourself, you will make time for yourself too. You don't think you ever had a Donsuela day, to be honest, dear Donsuela? You never thought of it before. It's time, right? Take yourself on a date. I'm going to take myself to the ocean, or maybe to the spa, or to get a massage, or maybe even to dinner, or a movie, or a play. Take yourself on a picnic. Really get to know yourself. Dear Tea with Tay, you share, it's a way to show yourself that you care about yourself, i.e. self-love. I love the subtle way you phrase that. That not just a way to take care of yourself, but a way to show yourself that you take care of yourself. Do you notice that subtlety? That is profound. Not just to say to yourself, look, I'm taking care of you. But to hear from yourself, look, I'm being taken care of. For good confidence, shares Butterfly. Yeah. If you feel good, if you smell good, definitely boost the confidence. Oh, and thank you, dear Lex, for the hanging lights you sent. But I thank you for these. I thank you for being a shining light. Not just here, hanging with the rest of us, but in the night sky of so many people in your life, whether you realize it or not. Mindfully showing self-love. Shares its all Legos. Indeed. Dear Blue Lily, you ask, how did I choose my question of the day? Well, I opened the book that we were going to read today, and I flipped through the pages that we were to read, and we did. And I saw that our protagonist was buying soap and a toothbrush and shampoo, which is indeed what happened in our chapter today. That's the question on hygiene. Thich Nhat Hanh would love these answers we've been getting. Oh, I'm not sure there's many things that he wouldn't love. I think the bar to please Thich Nhat Hanh is very, very readily succeeded. Because he just has so much love. But he speaks a lot about these things. That's for sure. Dear love, you share, because self-care is caring for our spiritual vessel. And so does hygiene. We also respect others. Dear Myrna, you share, It's not optional. The body will start smelling again after 6 hours of shower. I think there's two ways I could interpret that. That if you stay in a shower for 6 hours, then other health effects are going to show up. Or after showering, that we will experience perspiration again. And therefore, it should be a necessary part of our society. And dear G, you share spiritual hygiene keeps one emotionally grounded when faced with challenges. That's so true. And dear Stevie, you share, well, for spiritual hygiene, there's so many endless benefits. You clean the inner and outer cobwebs. I like that. It was just 11:11 for Lex and 12:12 for Blue Lily. And it's about to be 13:13 for someone else. Radhe, Radhe, dear Hari. Well, thank you everyone for exploring this question of the day together. I'm so happy there are so many benefits that we see together from many different perspectives. I'm grateful to have such a wise community. I love the idea of showing yourself that you are being taken care of, that you are there for you, that it's also a gift to others, albeit small, but definitely makes a big difference. It's how we clean out this vessel. It's how we take care of this vessel given by the divine, part of Mother Nature. And it helps us get into routine of other responsibilities. So many wonderful benefits. Thank you, everyone. Hari Om Tat Sat. Let's transition now from our manana to our nididhyasana to put into practice everything that we've learned thus far. We've arrived. Hello, Scully. You wonder what spiritual Santa will bring you this year? Well, hopefully, spiritual Santa will take that call which was given previously and through the pressure of sadhana, of spiritual discipline, compress it into diamond. My sound effects make life worth living, shared Blue Lily. Thank you. I get them from my father. My father could probably do the sound effects for any movies just from his mouth alone. His specialty was definitely liquidy sounds. He could make a very great splat. You know, if let's say if a gnome fell from a tree, they'd go something like that. Dear Myrna, you're wondering, what's the emoji that comes with my name when you search it? That's a yam. Yam is a type of tuber, root vegetable like potatoes and sweet potatoes. Yam is a great alternative to potatoes that are orangey and sweet. So if you ever get the option to have regular fries or yam fries, try the yam fries. And carrots and radishes. Are those types of tubers too? I guess they are. I never thought about it. Definitely type of root vegetable. That guy was made of jello. The gnome? Or he fell from a very high height for a gnome. Rest in peace. Okay, what do I have planned for tonight? I often forget myself. Tonight our meditation is a guided meditation for overstimulation. It is my intention for this meditation to stick with you during the times that you're overstimulated, as well as heal any wounds caused by past overstimulation, and perhaps as something that you can recall the next time you're feeling overstimulated. And of course, especially if you're overstimulated now, you can come back to this meditation with me and go through it together. It's all about the senses. Our sights, our sounds, our smells, our tastes, to an extent too, and of course, our feelings. So if you have a place around you that might be darker, or maybe with a light source that calms you, like a candle, or a place with less intense lighting, if there's a place around you that's quiet, if there's a place that maybe smells good, maybe you could light incense. Check in on your sensual environment. Are there any adjustments you can make? If not, don't worry. There's plenty of space inside to find understimulation. And that's predominantly the place we'll explore together after you set yourself up in a place that works best for you. If you are in a public place, if there are things that are loud around you, maybe headphones can be helpful. But we'll begin by bringing our attention away from the experiences external to us and to something that's present here, inwardly. If your mind is overstimulating you, try to think thoughts about things that are here with you now. The breath is a great tie to the present because it's always present. No matter how busy you are, you can't say, I'll breathe later. I'll just do what I have to do now. So let's start with our breath, something that is here and now. Every time you catch your mind having a thought, ask, is this a thought that takes place in the future? In the past? Is it beyond my walls of my house? Is it in a place that I'm not presently experiencing? Or a time? If so, that can be a very healing affirmation because it tells you that what you have to worry about is only ever here and now. You may be anticipating something that could happen. You may be grieving something that did happen. Or you may be filling in the gaps of a story taking place elsewhere. But to be a successful human being, you don't have to worry about that in the past, future, or outside of your present experience. Everything you need to attend to is here, and everything you need to attend to it is also here. You are not missing anything necessary in order to find some serenity now. So you can send that in and feel it be received by your body. Let your body receive that sentiment, that everything it needs is right here, right now, in this moment. And everything it needs to do is also accessible right here, right now, this moment. And the most essential thing right now is just breathing. Nice, deep belly breaths are great. Consider every cycle of your breath as something that relaxes maybe 0.1% of you. That it has a relaxing effect, and each breath adds to the last one, relaxing even more deeper parts of you. And after 10 breaths, you're feeling 1% more calm. And that doesn't take that long. You can ask yourself, are you able to take just 10 breaths? Absolutely. And if you can do that 10 more times, then 10% of your worries go. And if you can do that just 10 more times, then you're feeling 100% relaxed. Specific percentiles may vary, but each breath contributes percentage of relaxation. And don't get overwhelmed if only a couple breaths aren't doing the trick. Sometimes it can take a few minutes of breathing, but it's the best thing to do when the alternative is to get overwhelmed. You can find victory in just that small percentage gained in peace. You might not be feeling 100%, but you don't have to. Because if after a few breaths you feel just even a little bit more relaxed than how you were a few breaths ago, then that's a victory for you, and you're doing well. in case you need someone to hear it, or rather, in case you need to hear someone say it, I should say, I don't blame you for being overstimulated. Pets get overstimulated all the time and we love them. It's just that they're so sensitive. Their ears are working hard. Their noses are working hard. Their sense of feeling is working hard. I'm sure we've all seen an animal feel overstimulated. You can tell when a cat has had enough, or a dog, or a bird. You can just think of yourself like a fellow animal, that it's totally natural to be overstimulated, because I agree, life is overstimulating. There are so many different moving parts and pieces, so many things to be aware of, so many thoughts. I think it's amazing that we're not always overstimulated. But if we keep breathing, we can get our body back into a position of being receptive to sounds and sights and smells again, and thoughts. The problem isn't what we're experiencing, but that we got carried away in trying to keep track of it all. That there's a little guardian within us that's listening to all the sounds, feeling all the feelings, looking out for anything that we can be careful with. And it has our interest in mind. It's like a little protector inside that says, hey, this might be too much for us right now. And a lot of the time it has our backs, and it correctly knows when it's time for us to take a step back. Other times we can get carried away and see every sensation as a threat, and I definitely know what that's like. And we have to remind that little guardian that we don't have to be protected from everything. It's a good thing sometimes to go outside of our comfort zone and try out new things, and we are succeeding in that. And our rational brain can affirm that there's no tigers in the bushes. Sun is still in the sky, moon and stars. World continues to go on. We're all just finding our way. While we're doing this, my phone is vibrating. Another sensation. So many sensations, many of them unexpected. You may notice that there's a part of your mind that's constantly labeling sensations. Like when my phone went off, part of my mind said, phone alarm. It identified it. In your periphery, there may be sounds around you, and you may notice the labeler, as I call it, going off, saying, house creak, people talking, car driving past, wind. There's a part of us that's labeling all the things in our experience. As we keep breathing, I believe that it's not truly our higher self that's being overstimulated, but the labeler in our mind that it has too many things to label at this moment, that it's been faced with more experiences than it can process at any one time. And that's okay. You are given a subconscious to be able to process experiences that we might not be able to consciously. Connecting with our breath is a great way of sending in affirmation to our subconscious that everything is in order. And if we want to make our subconscious more and more peaceful and capable of processing our experiences, then we take times like these. And we think positive thoughts and direct our mind back to something that we're grateful for, something comforting, even if it's just a small part of this experience. Can we be grateful for the fact that you have your favorite socks on? Maybe, that they're cozy. Can we be grateful for the fact that we have friends nearby in case we need to rely on them? Can we be grateful for your headphones? Can we be grateful for the fact that the ground below you is holding you up so that you don't have to feel like you have to support yourself all by yourself? Just little things like that bring you back to the moment. No sensation can truly harm you. We do have a duty to our body and mind, but beyond that, no matter what experiences we have through our eyes or ears or nose or tongue or skin or brain, no matter what experiences come through our senses, we remain ever the same. There's that higher knowing part of you that is changeless, unaffected. Search yourself. Find that space which has always been there, no matter what. That space of wonder, of bravery, that space of curiosity, of stillness. That part of you isn't going anywhere. You may have gotten scared, but you don't have to be. Because there's nothing about the world that can damage your spirit. And you are that. Before you had the body, you were that. And when we give our body back to Mother Nature, we will still be that. The changeless essence. And it is its nature to be sensitive. And the fact that you are sensitive is so beautiful. And as you keep breathing, affirm that your vulnerability, your sensitivity is your greatest strength. And you are so brave for being so open to the world. I know it can be overwhelming now, but the world will thank you in time for just how great of a listener you are, just how great of a seer, how great of a feeler, of a knower, of a witness, that you are so open. That's a wonderful thing. And you never have to hide that. You are always welcome to continue these practices into any moment of your day. But to end this meditation together, we'll end with 3 conscious breaths. Thank you for meditating together. I also made that meditation in mind for people in the future, as I always record these meditations. And so if any of you liked that, do remember that it'll be on my YouTube channel, Yamsox Lives, which is also where the reading will be posted, the show and tell, and the whole live stream too. Thank you, dear Roxy, for the heart me and fest crown you sent whilst we meditated. Om Ham Jahnavyai Namaha. Dear Hybrid Jen, thank you for your quintet of roses. Om Rum Brahmane Namaha. And O user, by the name of a single period, thank you for your pair of galaxies. You know that our galaxy is going to pair with Andromeda. They are on a collision course that takes place over billions of years, and our galaxy will become one with Andromeda. And it will be so beautiful, and it's not expected that even in the trillions of stars that take place in the merger, not even a single one is likely to hit another. But the black holes at the center of each galaxy are likely to merge and send ripples across the whole of the universe. I look forward to that. Thank you. Om Ishana Sarva Vidyanam Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Brahma Dipati Brahmanor Dipatir Brahma Shivo Mestu Sa Eva Sada Shiva Om. me waiting on Black Hole Ripple EP to drop. Oh, I love you, Gregorgy. Oh, I'm so glad that you liked the meditation, dear Lex. And it's all Legos. And Gregorgy too. Dear Grace, you're wondering, what am I chanting? I am chanting various mantras and prayers in the ancient language of Sanskrit. Many of them are on the frequently asked questions page in the link tree in my bio. I have a list of many of the mantras I do in case any one of them in particular catches your fancy. And dear Grandma Fairy, thank you for your 11 roses. Om Braum Hanumate Namaha. Dear Lex, thank you for your hand hearts and quartet of roses, trio of finger hearts. Heart me and tiny diny. Yahoo! I'm glad you find it beautiful. I find it a very beautiful language too, dear Grace. And thank you, Anazek, for your trio of roses. Om Aghore Ta Ghore Bhyo Aghora Ghore Dhare Bhyah Sarvata Sarva Sarve Bhyo Namaste Rudra Rupe Bhyah. Thank you, Mihina, for your quintet of roses. Jai Sitaram. Pal. When I was in grade 2, my dad used to say, "See you later, pal," as he dropped me off at school. And I told him to stop because I was worried that other people might confuse it for Paul. And I didn't want them thinking my name was Paul. I'd say, "Dad, you gotta stop calling me pal. They might think my name is Paul." This is a true story. Thank you for your presence, your Dansuela. And for your light and love. I look forward to hearing about your Dansuela Day. We'll have to make it a international holiday too. Did he start to call me buddy after? That's a good question. Yeah, I don't remember. I love that, dear Sylvia. Yes. And your soul eats stardust popcorn while admiring that cinematic collision from space. And what is my name, dear butterfly? All you have to do is add an L to the front of my name, Yam, and it becomes Liam. But my friends call me Yam. Dear Grace, you ask, how do you follow me? Well, that's a good question. I'm not exactly sure what your screen looks like, but somewhere there is a button that allows you to follow. But it's never expected. And I look forward to you being here in whatever capacity you can be. And everyone is welcome to come and go whenever they want. Hopefully he didn't start calling me Paul. That's right, Fiddle Leaf. You're needing to brainstorm what your first official Dansuela Day will consist of. Good first step. Thank you, user 8888. Now, live stream is coming to an end. But not before I thank you all for being here. Thank you for being so kind to each other It was lovely to see all of the love being shared from Sanghi to Sanghi. May this live stream be an offering to that divinity within you. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to the light, from death to deathlessness. May there be peace in us, may there be peace in our environment, and may there be peace in the forces that act on us. And thank you to everyone who helps hold me accountable to all the things I can do to make this space more inclusive next time. Thank you to my lovely moderators who help keep the peace too. Without further dilly-dally, or yilly-yammy, may you all have a wonderful rest of your present moment. Namaste.